2024, they said DEI is no more, but will others keep it alive in 2025? Yep, this year saw at least a dozen major U.S. companies roll back their DEI policies and programs, including Walmart, American Airlines, Lowe's, Harley-Davidson, and Jack Daniels. Coincidentally, those are also the names of Kanye West's kids. But it sounds like these companies finally sobered up, although others seem to be sticking with it. Costco's board of directors is encouraging shareholders to vote to keep the company's DEI program, claiming that it will ensure that, quote, all of our employees feel valued and respected. That vote comes after the National Center for Public Policy Research challenged the legality of Costco's DEI program, citing the Supreme Court's ruling that race-based admissions at colleges violates the 14th Amendment. But the decision might be a lot easier when these companies realize they've been violating federal law, which in 2025 might actually be enforced. As some guy named Greg noted on Twitter, it's going to be fun watching all these corporate heads realize that enforcing DEI policies has always been illegal, but now punishable by fines plus jail, thanks to the appointment of Harmeet Dillon. Suddenly, preference falsification, i.e. going along with the crowd, even though you know it's deeply wrong, doesn't seem worth a prison cell. It's all coming down. Wow, smart dude, huh? That guy should have his own show. I'm not sure what they would call it, though. So, Guy, do you think that, it really has turned 180? We had companies that were cowed into doing this DEI and practicing it. They were afraid they were going to be sued by activists. Now it could be turning the other way, right?
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's have a DEI segment. Let's bring it out to the whitest panel that's ever existed on television.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself, Cracker.
I am relieved to know that I can still buy my racism in bulk at Costco.
That's right. It is racism, though, isn't
Kirkland's signature brand racism.
Yeah.
Look, I actually think that there are a lot of these companies that view Trump's victory, whether they want to admit it or not, as something of a liberation. They didn't want to go along with this. They cowardly did, right, in that sort of panic, that moral panic, 2021, and they've been looking for an excuse to get out of it. And Trump winning is like, okay, now we can finally sort of say, look, it's not our fault, we tried, and move on. It reminds me, this is absolutely true, a friend of ours who's a good liberal, but has done well, said, well, of course I didn't vote for Trump, but I'm kind of relieved he won. Right? It's kind of an amazing thing to admit. I think that is the sentiment in a lot of C-suites, in a lot of companies right now.
C-suites, that's what, where all the bosses go?
Apparently, that's what I've been told.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never met any of them. But.
It sounded smart. Joe, some biases are kind of appropriate, right? I mean, there's no Italian-American Airlines, right? Because the pilots, they can't fly with all that gesturing they do.
Oh, that is... so we should have the pilots be your people, the Irish Americans?
Maybe,
yes. Yeah, those little bottles of booze would never make it out of the cockpit if you
Oh, my God!
No. You want a pilot with maybe a little statue of Virgin Mary on the dashboard. That's what you want.
Yes.
I want the Italian American.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's funny to see what's happening now. I laugh at all these companies saying we want our employees to know they're valued. And I think of the jobs I've had, they didn't care if I lived or died at those jobs. So I can't imagine going, like, do they care at Walmart? Since they got rid of the greeters, I've never even seen a Walmart employee. I walk in, I pick my own stuff, I check myself out, I leave. It's wonderful. There's no human interaction. I don't have to worry about anybody's feelings. It's great. But I do think, I had a friend of mine say the same thing, that he did not vote for Trump, but he's relieved that he won. I don't know what you say to that person. I think it shows you how bad things got, that even people who hate the man, they know their lives are going to improve with him in charge.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we're seeing. Kennedy, are you surprised that some of these companies, like Harley-Davidson, were the most woke, and now they've turned out? You ready to go get on a hog? What do you think?
Yes, well, like Charlie Gasparino likes to say, go woke, go broke.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know why he said that, because I found that to be offensive and unnecessary. But yeah, Harley-Davidson received a huge backlash from, talk about an incredibly loyal customer base.
Yeah.
And talk about completely misreading them and marketing to the DEI crowd, which doesn't buy Harley.
Or Bud Light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely right. And, they're like, we want our employees to know that they're valued unless they're white and have penises. Then they're completely unvalued, and we don't want them anywhere near our stores or our workforce. And it's really expensive because a lot of the DEI people who came in were total charlatans and were charging millions and millions of dollars in consulting fees. And they went to these massive corporations and are like, well, if you don't hire us, we're going to tell the world that you're racist, and then your stock price is going to tank. But instead, they hired and marketed with DEI, and their loyal customers just ended up not buying their products, and their stocks tanked. So good job, America.
Good job, America.
Yeah.
Jamie, you're used to a lot of silence at your shows. Can companies afford to stay silent on DEI?
Yeah, I do think it will go away eventually for everybody. But when I hear this, I worry when I hear about it's American Airlines. Because that's something where it's like you need an important, right? This is an important job. Let's go with the most skilled person. I don't want to hear, we're going down in 5 different languages.
Unless you're at a whorehouse.
Yeah, that's very true. It's true. I do worry about I think it was a DEI hire on my plane here. It was like Spirit Air, because the pilot goes, we're going to be flying at about, what do you guys think? I go, what? You don't? I don't want to have a say in it. I don't even like when they share that. I don't even like when they're like, hey, we're going to be flying about 10,000 feet. I go, just do it. I don't want to be involved. My preference would be just a few feet above the mountains. But I think, but I don't worry so much about, I hope it goes away, but I don't think like the Costco, Walmart, I get that it's unfair, but it's not dangerous. I think that's why I give them, I hope it goes away, but it doesn't, because Walmart, Costco, I went there yesterday, I had 100 things I bought at Costco.
Yeah.
And I go up and the guy looks at my receipt and he just highlights it. And I go, really? You got it all? Where are my chiclets? Find them. And then Walmart, they got security when you walk in now. What are they afraid people are going to smuggle good quality merchandise into the store?
Well, Bud Light learned their lesson. I mean, look what happened. They had Dylan Mulvaney as a spokesperson, and then, their sales shrunk like her penis in a cold shower. And then who they work with now? They're working with the UFC, so they really went, to the most manly thing they could find, which is, shirtless men rolling around the floor, and there's certainly nothing gay about that.
Yeah. Well, then why would anyone stick with it? And why is Costco, for some reason, are they going after the left-wing crowd or something? They seem to be going the other way on everything.
I mean, you're Catholic. Sell to people who are going to buy in bulk. It's like you sell to Catholic families and Mormon families.
Right.
Like, no, we're going to sell to some lonely singleton with a penis and boobies in San Francisco. It's like, good strategy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I felt like that was a personal attack on me. Tom, I have, real quick, I have a public service announcement that I think the DEI folks are going to love.
Yeah. All right, go for it.
Yeah, I have a...
Lisso's Lessons. Tips from a divorced dad.
Hey kids, telling a joke that belittles someone because of their race or gender is wrong. So remember, when you do, tell it in a whisper after looking around.
Lisso's Lessons. Tips from a divorced dad.
Very good. Up next, more vaccine flack from a certified quack.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.